Alright guys, Man United yesterday agreed a fee of around 46 million, I think it was in the end, to sign Lisandro Martinez from Ajax. So he's an Argentinian international, and he can play in multiple positions. I think in his entire time at Ajax, he's played centre mid, like defensive midfield, centre back. That's his main position, and I think he's also played left back at times. So it's a little bit reminiscent of when United signed Daley Blind, just a little bit. But the main question that's being asked is, where will he get used in Man United's team? Because basically every position he plays is sort of where United were a little bit weak last season. Which, I mean, if they have signed him, then that's surely got to be good, because they're solving, or they're trying to stop the problems that they've had in the team over the past 18 months now, roughly. Okay, so at centre back, you've got a few players United in Lindelof, Maguire, Varane. They're the three main centre backs who get used. Now, obviously, something that rival fans have been quick to point out about Martinez is his height. He is only, I believe, 5'9" or 5'10", depending on what source you read, which is about the same height as myself, and I definitely couldn't picture myself playing centre back for a Premier League club. So yeah, I think you can get away with being a centre back and not very tall, because we've seen examples like Cesar Azpilicueta recently. Daley Blind, as I've already said, wasn't the tallest. Like, it's not impossible for players to be small and play centre back. But then again, most of the time when these players do play centre back, they are usually played in a back three, which is something I don't think Erik ten Hag is going to do. From what I've seen of him, he usually prefers a four at the back than a two in midfield, and whatever the attack, he'll play three attacking midfielders and a striker or something like that. So I don't know if he will be, physically imposing enough. Although then again, we have seen statistics come out like he has a hairy, what was I saying? A hair. He has a better aerial duel success rate than Harry Maguire. And Harry Maguire is supposed to be, slab it, clears anything away with his head. So that's an impressive statistic. However, the Dutch league is a very different league to the Premier League. It's a very technical league, but it's not the most physical. We all know that. So yeah, coming into the Premier League, that will be a challenge. He might get used at left back because United have got two decent left backs in Luke Shaw and Alex Telles. However, they both had fairly poor seasons last year, especially Luke Shaw. After the season he had before for United in 2021, he had a really good season that year, arguably the best left back in the league he was. So yeah, real drop off last season. So he will have some competition, and also United have signed Tyrell Malacia to compete for left back as well. So with all the competition they've got at left back, it's probably unlikely he will be used at left back. And then defensive midfield. So United's current options there are pretty much McTominay and Fred, because they've got rid of Pereira, even though he wasn't used at all last season. He was out on loan. They've got rid of Pogba back to Juventus, and they've also got rid of Matic, who I'm not sure if he's joined Roma yet, but he there was a lot of talk about that, but he was released on a free. His contract ran out. So that's definitely an option, because they are low on central midfielders who can play in that defensive position. And also, if Ten Hag does want to mix it up and play, not mix it up, but play with two midfielders, that gives him the option to play Martinez, who, from what we've seen at Ajax, isn't the most creative player when he's playing in midfield. He's much more of does the defensive side of the game, and that would allow him to play someone like Eriksen alongside him and be a lot more creative. So that's definitely an option. So yeah, I think it's most likely what's most likely to happen is he maybe gets a chance at centre back, but if it does start to show that he is being outleaped at corners or something, or struggles to deal with crosses coming into the box, then it could be likely that he gets moved into midfield and plays a sort of number 6 role in midfield. But having said that, he was a very important player for Erik ten Hag, and Jurrien Timber, who he played alongside at Ajax, wasn't a very big defender. I think also you got to take into account the way that Erik ten Hag sets his team up to play, because they are a very possession dominant. His teams have been very possession dominant teams, whether it is in the Dutch league or in the Champions League. So if the opposition team doesn't have time to get on the ball and keep possession themselves, and then try and put the cross in, then you could argue, well, that's not going to lead to many situations where he will have to be heading crosses away. For attacking teams who are, very possession based, the main method for that is usually to get them on the counter attack, which doesn't involve, which really doesn't make too much of a difference if you are 6'4" or 5'10". So that could play into Martinez and Man United's hands a bit if that is the way that Ten Hag sets Man United up to play. So I think it's going to be a very good sign of United. He's still only 24, so he's got quite a few years ahead of him. And also that's for a potential defender as well. They say defenders don't reach their peak until like the age of 28, 29. I mean, believe it or not, Thiago Silva's 38 this season, and he's still playing very well for Chelsea. Don't get me wrong, it's in a back three, but still performing at the highest level. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.